opens it up, bangs it a goal. He's got it. One for the ages. No, it's touched the post. How's that for an occasion for these fans on the edge of their seats now? They can't believe it. They thought they were in front.
Hi, I'm Mark Bickley, and with emotions still raw after the heartbreaking loss to Sydney, welcome to The Crows Show, brought to you by the new Hungry Jack's Roadhouse Jack's Fried Chicken. As we prepare for our final game against West Coast, fans should look forward to next year with great optimism. Matthew Nix says the team's forwards are up there with the best in the competition, and the defence is improving all the time. But after losing 5 games by a goal or less, everyone just needs to get better.
We took some time to reflect or vent, or we had 60 seconds to talk through it, and then we moved on. We got a really important game to move on to this week against West Coast to finish our season off. A season that's been a positive in so many ways, but at the same time, disappointing that we weren't able to be in the fight when it really mattered, which is a couple of weeks away. Large amounts of improvement, both from an individual point of view. A lot of our players have shown really strong development in their own individual growth, but as a team there's a lot of areas in the game. I mean, at the moment I think we're number 2 for offence this year. To sit up there when it comes to our ball use, and it's only 2 years ago that we were described as scrappy fighters, which we should be proud of, but we needed to work on our ball use to be able to turn that around in such a short period of time. We're really proud of that. We defend well, but we need to improve in that space. We knew we had a great young squad, but our depth this year has gone above and beyond maybe where we all thought it was. There's some really exciting growth that we're seeing come through. Saligo, he's one that jumps off the page at you. I mean, he's a fantastic young player. I think Riley Thilthorpe continues to grow, and for a key position player, there's a lot of stats, there's a lot of talk out there about how he's gone this year. Some of the numbers are quite incredible of what he's been able to do from a contested point of view in the air. I think Hinge has been one that's really jumped off the page, and what he's been able to do alongside of Wayne Miller. There's no question on our fight. We've always prided ourselves on playing a finals brand of football. 5 games under less than a kick. Those 5 happen to be against the top 4 teams this year. We had a really tough draw when you look back on it, and that is what it is. We can't help that. But that'll also put us in a good position going forward, knowing we can play against the best teams.
Now, it'll always be the goal that never was, and Ben Keays, for one, will never forget it. Since joining the club from Brisbane in the 2019 rookie draft, he's rewarded the Crows with outstanding consistency, having embraced his new role as a high half forward.
Got no choice but to move on, really. I don't think it'll ever sit well. Just a unique sort of 1 in a million scenario, it feels like. Something that shouldn't have been allowed to happen, but it did. Obviously, we practiced a lot of those kicks, as players a lot, and it certainly just felt right. It looked like it was going in, and just the kick felt right. So that's why I sort of went off in a wild celebration. So there was a bit of confusion initially after the ball was played on. So it was just sort of a bit of shock. Didn't really hit me until later on, and then obviously once we saw it, we realised it did actually go in. I think the comeback was pretty incredible. The boys were playing such good footy, and I felt like I hadn't had a very good game to that point. So I thought this will be my moment to make that up, and it wasn't to be, unfortunately. I guess we just have to come back next year and try and do better than we did this year, and try and really be in that fight again. Definitely playing that forward role was tough at the start, and very happy to have worked hard on that, and be able to get some results towards the end of the season. So very happy to have that versatility now, and it'll be up to the coaches going forward whether they want to play me, but very confident now I can do both.
Stay with us, there's more of Ben to come, and shortly we'll hear what Nixie had to say to his players after that gut-wrenching loss.
watching around the planet.
I think it might be rolling out.
Oh, the Heaney! Genie! How did he get that through? Rampy, and kept alive by Rankin. It's Rankin time. He's back in, and Rankenstein is back. They've got the goalkeeper back there. Big contest from Rochelle. Rush in a flash. There's a kick in it. Opens it up, bangs it a goal. He's got it. One for the ages. No, it's touched the post. They're celebrating. They don't know. They don't know yet. Heads out wide, bouncing ball, silent.
One thing that I love is that we just don't give up, no matter what. 6 goals for them. Did not even flinch. The 3/4 time, I'm thinking, how do we walk off? What's happening to us? No, there we are. That's who we are. To a man, that's who we are. We'll never give up. So now I can walk off and go, chin up. That's my boys. That's our boys. Let's stay positive. Okay, we've got another week. We've got another week to go. Stay positive and we'll finish strong in that one.
And in the Adelaide Oval curtain raiser, the AFLW team led throughout to beat Geelong by a goal in their final warm-up game before their season kicks off next Saturday. One recruit has been especially keen to impress. Sarah Goodwin is a lifelong Crows supporter, but in 2022 she was drafted instead by Port Adelaide. After playing 5 games, Sarah was traded to the Crows, where she joins her close friend and former SANFL Premiership teammate, Ebony Marinoff.
Well, goody. Here at the shed. Crosstown rivalry, our first one. How have you found your time at Westlakes?
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into footy.
I think I started about, officially, year 6, playing school knockout. Yeah, then joined the club, Plimpton Bulldogs. It's a local club, played there for a couple of years, and then moved to Goodwood Saints for a couple of years because there was no under 16 girls team at Plimpton for me. So yeah, made the move with a good friend of mine, Lauren Young.
What was your first premiership? Was the premiership with Glenelg back in 2021, or you had other premierships?
It was the first big one.
How did it feel?
Well, it was pretty surreal. It was pretty cool being the first Glenelg women's team to win.
What can Crows fans get excited to see? How do you play your game?
Oh, hopefully a bit of run and carry off half back. Yeah, maybe on the wing, we'll see.
So you obviously grew up watching footy. Who did you idolise in the AFL?
When I was quite young, I idolised the Crows men's team, so likes of Paddy Dangerfield and Roy Sloan and Kurt Tippett.
Oh, I loved Kirk Tippett too.
Yeah, they were really good to watch, but yeah, obviously Dangerfield and Tippett left us.
And welcome to the club.
Thanks, Snoppy.
The girls have shown already they're in great touch. And there's no better way to begin a season than a showdown at Norwood Oval next Saturday against Sarah's old side.
I love playing footy at the Crows. There's so many special times, special moments, but this one's my favourite.
Bounces, she's had 3, she looks back, runs away from McDonald, Meg won't catch her to the top of the square and kicks the goal.
I'm lucky I get to see it as it's happening, and you can too. Buy a membership and be part of the Crows family.
Join the Crows family today at crowsmembership.com.au. Welcome back. There's no doubt players are starved of spare time during a footy season, so they make good use of the hours they have away from the club. Each week this year, Jones Radiology has given us a clearer picture of what some of them get up to.
G'day guys, Sam Berry here. Here's 3 things I like to do outside of footy. First photo I've got here is with all my cousins. We love to catch up, we don't get to do it too often. This was when they all come to Adelaide for my birthday. So yeah, it's always great. I absolutely love seeing them. It's usually only Christmas time, but yeah, so to get home and see them is always fantastic. Second photo I've got here, I'm with my girlfriend Raiden. We're heading down south at this point. We were at the Molly Dooker Winery in McLaren Vale. One thing South Australia has to offer are beautiful wineries and beautiful beaches along there, so I love going down south. Last photo I've got here with a few boys from the club here, with Jimmy Rowe, Harry Schellenberg, Nick Murray, Luke Pedler and Josh Worrell. We did a post-season trip last year over to Europe, and we were at the Man United versus Tottenham game down in Manchester. The atmosphere at that game and seeing the passionate Man U supporters was very memorable and something I'll never forget. Thanks for watching. That's 3 things I like to do outside of footy.
After successive losses in last year's finals, the Crows SANFL team is well placed to make amends this time round. Many of the players have AFL experience, and provided the coaches can field a settled side, they should mount a serious challenge for the premiership. Thanks to Bendigo Bank, let's find out how they're shaping up on finals eve.
The group's in a really good headspace at the moment. Obviously, it's off the back of last year. That 11-point loss to Nord is still stinging with us in that prelim final. So we're prepared. And learnings from last year, well, there were many learnings actually. Obviously, from the way that we played and the way we attacked the weeks in particular, because the listed players have a long week to wait because obviously they don't have another job to go to, and our development players have full-time jobs. So we've got to mesh them together and make sure that we have meaningful training sessions whilst also preparing for a game. So there's, from a week to week scheduling perspective, there was a lot to learn. The last month has been pretty tough. AFL players going down with injury, and they all seem to be tall, so that's changed the way that we're going to have to play. So clearly the team that we had in the middle of the year to the team we're going to go into finals with is significantly different, but we've got a development group, and that's what they're there to do. Tate Coleman's a new player to us who came from South Adelaide. He's had a couple of years out of the system. He's one of Braden Cook's best friends. He's been really impressive. Hugh Hazeman, who's an ex-West Adelaide player, has been really good. And a player who played finals for us last year, Riley Clamp, he's going to be critically important because he's a little bit taller. He's still not super tall, but he's tall enough, can play a key position at both ends and also pinch it in the ruck. So there's a few guys there that are pretty important to us. The buy-in from our AFL listed the last couple of years has been outstanding. It's showing in our performances week to week. And clearly going into a final series, you need everyone on board at 100%. So yeah, the guys at this stage look really good. They look enthusiastic. A lot of them played in that losing prelim last year, so there's a bit in that as well. So we just got to get out there and get it done.
Grassroots competitions across the state are now nearing finals. Today we're featuring Broadview's Alex Day, who kicked 10 goals in the Adelaide Footy League Division 1 clash with Old Ignatians. Broadview won by a whopping 126 points.
They turn around, they look for Day. Over the top a little, Day's there, circling, trying to get his 10th. He does well to pick it up, spins out of trouble.
On their way!
Around.
Oh, he's done it!
Did you know, if you own a Toyota and you're a Crows member, you can receive a $250 voucher towards your next service. Just complete a registration form to go into the draw. There's 20 winners every month, and you've got until August 31st to enter. For more information, go to crowsmembership.com.au.
Radio show. Fantastic to be here on this Sunday morning, mate. All things going really well. Excited for a big show.
Mate, rugged up as well. We've got the Crows jacket on, the Crows beanie.
Join myself, Sauce and Tomo on the Crows Radio Show every Sunday morning, live from 9 till 10 on Triple M. And if you miss the show, download it for free on the Listener app. That's LISTNR.
Earlier in the show, we focused on Ben Keays, the footballer. Now we'll see him on the other side of the camera, questioning one of his teammates over a coffee catch-up, thanks to Jack's Cafe at Hungry Jack's.
Welcome back to the Jack's Cafe Corner. Thanks to our sponsor, Hungry Jack's. We appreciate everything you guys do for the club. I've got a huge episode here with my man, James Ballace, aka Bozza, FKA Mark Bosnich. How are you, Bozza? Welcome to the show.
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You were just telling me before we got on that you got this new nickname as well, Atlas or something, given to you by Dermot Brereton. Can you talk us through that?
Dwayne Russell, I think, said it on the game on the weekend. Atlas holds up the world with his shoulders, so I think that's where it came from.
Yeah, you do have huge shoulders. You never want to sit behind Bozza in a meeting, I should say, because you actually can't see. That was one of our first interactions when Bozza got to the club. I was stuck behind him. Talk to us about being a Cat B rookie, because it was pretty unique. We heard we're getting this Egyptian fella. This guy was born in Egypt through Cat B, and then big Bozza walked through the door. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah, so I was born in Egypt. Dad was working in Cairo on the wheat board over there. So born over there, and then I was there for a little while, not too long, 6 months, and then my family moved back to Melbourne and then eventually to Adelaide. And because I was zoned to Sturt, Sturt's also zoned to the Crows, so they were able to have access to me through that.
Tell us a little bit about your favourite Crows moment in your career so far.
So obviously my favourite Crows moment would be my debut game against Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago. I've always been a dream of mine to play AFL footy, so to do that with a bunch of my best mates and get the win was pretty surreal, and I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely brilliant in that game as well. I'm sure all Crows fans would agree. Well done, mate. Credit to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Bozza, for coming on. Appreciate the chat.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Players, coaches and fans alike want the season to end on a high in Perth tonight. And the Crows have a bit of catching up to do in the record of head-to-head clashes with the Eagles. With the help of Flight Centre, let's check out how the teams measure up.
We need to prepare ourselves for a really tough matchup. They don't get much bigger than heading over to Perth for a final round with a number of retiring players. So we have been here before and we had a great experience that night. So we'll take a little bit out of that. But we have gone to work this week, as we have done all year, and gone through the process of preparing for another game. Now, they've been strong against Essendon. They obviously had a great game last week against the Bulldogs and came away with a win. They're playing what looks like a slightly different brand of footy, a little bit more attacking than what we've seen in the past. They've always been a very good side. They seem to be a lot more aggressive with the way they are playing their footy, especially with the ball in hand. So McGovern, he's got some weapons when it comes to, especially in the air. Kelly's in great form at the moment, so another big challenge for us. And Alan, ahead of the ball, there's not many forwards that are playing the level of footy he is at the moment. So I guess we've got to try and keep the ball away from those guys, because if we give them too much footy, we might find ourselves in trouble. In a way, we look at this now as part of our longer term development. This is, we blend our seasons into one. We're still working at improving. We know we've got to be better. We're a good side. We want to be a great side. And so we're trying to work our way through how to go from good to great. This game will be a big part of that and how we finish this season off.
Regardless of Adelaide's final ladder position, this year has been a positive one for the club, with most players on the list improving and the team showing they can consistently compete with the best. As we wrap up our final show for 2023, don't forget the club's website has all the latest news, and check out the social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for your company today, and indeed for the whole season. And I look forward to joining you again next year. Bye for now, and for one final time, go Crows. The Crows Show, brought to you by the new Hungry Jack's Roadhouse Jack's Fried Chicken.